Hello again, Crypto Cube here once again. So I decided to do another quick analysis on Bitcoin. And for a while now, we've seen Bitcoin has been rallying and it's at a point where it has to decide if it really wants to go up or if it still wants to be in a bear trend. So for a quick one, we all know that BTC is at a zone of supply, and on the 30 minutes time frame, this is a point of interest where we've seen BTC react today, and it's back at it deeper into it this time around. The moment it breaks below this particular lows, it means Bitcoin is coming down to at least this point, where we will have another new point, another supply zone on this particular time frame, which at this particular moment is looking very much like this, where price is likely to retest after the break and then drop down here. Why on the 4 hour, this is likely to be the zone if Bitcoin still remain in a bullish zone. And this was a lie last I made before this trip here. So on the 4 hour, this will be the point of interest where Bitcoin is likely to come to. As you can see, it's very much close or aligned with the zone on the 30 minutes. But on the 4 hour, it will be something like this. So price is likely to come down into it and then come for a retest, a bearish retest at that. We all expect Bitcoin to break this particular region because it is a very big deciding factor for BTC. If BTC do not break it, then we are likely to go further. And this has to do with the Bitcoin structure. So if we look at the structure on BTC, starting from the rise from 10,000, which is here, we can see, let me use this other one, we can see that Bitcoin made an high here, then dropped to this very lows, made another high here, dropped to this low, made another high here, then made this low, and this fake high is here. Yeah, I call it a fake high because it didn't close above the last recent high, and that was a move that went all the way to 64,000. So what happened after then? We had a break of structure. This became the structural low, and the moment price broke this structural low, all we could have is a bear trend, and we had a retest of this supply zone here. We had a retest of it here, and then what happened? A big sell-off. So for this big sell-off to happen at this particular point, it means this particular point where we are in this current time and day is a very big deciding factor in the life of Bitcoin. Now, continuing to read the structure, from this particular high, we broke the structure, the bull structure here. We broke it to the downside, made a bearish retest and crashed down. So what do we have is a pure bearish structure. And if you're counting with Elliott waves, from this side we have a 1 to 2 to 3. This is 0 to 1, 2, and this is 3, which means we have, and we normally count 5 impulse waves, right? So we still have, like, we have 1, 2, 3, then we have 3 to 4 and 4 to 5 to go. So if we are to count that, how are we going to do it? This is at a point of 3, and looking at market structure, this was the last low made. Let me remove this side. That 2. This was the last low made. No other low went below this particular low, and we have this size. No high has gone above it except until here. So all this price action that we have here, they are base candles or rather consolidation inside bars. They are all inside of this big candle here. So what am I trying to say with this? What I'm trying to say is that all these price action do not qualify to be counted as a structural high or low. So this will make a structural low, and then we will have a structural high for going above this at this particular point. So we have a structural high here now, so we can count as 0 to 1, 2, 3, 4, right? Which means we have to go to 5, and 5 should be down. So if we take this move from this point to this point as a fifth wave, it is a lot more too truncated. We can have a truncated fifth move, yes, but then I will expect it to come to at least this region here, this basic candles here, from here. So that is what my expectation will be, and that is around the 34,000 top. So some people will expect something like this, which price came to, but then this doesn't look like a truncated fifth. So what do we have also in earlier waves is when we have an impulsive move like this, we do have what is called the ABC pattern of correction, right? So all I see here is an ABC pattern of correction. This is A, this is B, and this is likely our C. For the fact that Bitcoin haven't gone above these particular highs is making this a valid C of this third wave. So all we have here is a 0 to 1, 2, 3, and this up to this C, where Bitcoin prices at this particular moment, is a fourth wave. So we still expect the fifth wave likely to push price down. So if we are not going to get the fifth wave, and if this particular move to this point is a fifth wave, what is it that we expect price to do? We expect price, Bitcoin price for that matter, to break this particular supply zone. We want this zone broken, and the moment this zone is broken, that means we resume our bullish bias. Why? If you look at the waves again from this point, this was the highest high made. Pattern traders can see a right shoulder here and then a left shoulder here, right? But we have a move up to this point, then a retracement, which is a correction, then a move down, breaking the continuation structural low at this point. That makes this particular high our bearish invalidation high. So the moment price goes above this invalidation high, it means the bearish, the bearish bias or the bearish sentiment is over. So we could only have bullish bias anywhere above the 59,590 price line, and then we will want a close above of it, not just a hunt. So that is why at this particular time where Bitcoin is, it is a very big deciding price line where Bitcoin has to decide what it wants to do. Either it wants to resume the bullish bias, and then we can count this as a giant move up, a giant leg down, and then we expect price to rise higher to 70 something, 80 something thousand. Some people even predict 100,000. It's doable, but then we have to break this supply zone first. Why are these supply zone now? We have to go down on a lower time frame to see what is exactly happening. We have a big move into the zone. Now we are having a rejection at this point, and this rejection is forming a tweezer top right now, but then we have the same thing happen around here, only to have a big push up. Then at another supply zone, which was here, we had a big move through after, at this point here, because if you look at this point, this is also a bearish trend, a mini one, where we have a supply here, and now we just had a pause, and then we blasted through. The same thing can still happen at this particular point, but right now it's a big point of indecision for BTC and for every trader. And Bitcoin is currently holding altcoins into a ransom. They are not moving because Bitcoin It's at a deciding price line where it has to decide where it wants to go. And now looking at this, it seems Bitcoin has just wigged below this 30 minutes threshold exactly, which means we are going down more. And this, we might not go down immediately right now. We can just stop until they rally back to this point, retest it, or we break above of it, go deeper into the zone, or we just crash down. So this is most reason why most odds are dropping today, and why most of them are not even reacting well, because they do not know if Bitcoin will drop down, which means death to the altcoins, right, before they pick up. If Bitcoin drops, BTC pairs will drop as well. We all know. And BTC pairs will drag the USDT alt pairs down. So Bitcoin is at a very big deciding factor in this cycle if it wants to remain bullish or it wants to go back to being bearish. On the daily time frame, the structure is still bearish as well. We have a up move, down push, up move, down push, up move, down push, up move. Then a break of invalidation highs, invalidation lows there, a bearish retest, then a crash down, some consolidation, then a push back up, which is an ABC. So we all praise that Bitcoin breaks above this size. Once it does, the supply at this point will be a sheep cake to cut. The supply at this point will be easy to take out. If we happen to close above this size here, then the supply will be easy to break. It might get a reaction from there definitely, but then we know we are going far up. So that is the outlook on BTC right now. And sometimes you see some liquidations on the futures market here, where you see massive wicks. And here we might even have price actually moving lower than this low on spot market. This might just be a liquidation. It might be liquidations on this particular futures pair, which is why at times to look at BTC and its, if we want to say a genuine movement, it's better we look at the spots pair. That is the BTC USDT on the spots market. From there we can get a genuine move. Now we see this low. That was the last low made on the futures pair. As you can see, we have a move below of it, which means we even had a bottom. We crashed down with a bottom, and now we're pushing back up. It's still the same structure, just that we will know when invalidation is seen or not. This was the last side that led to this low. There was no high made since then. I wish this move here were to be lower than this particular lows. Then we could have resumed that bullish bias. And now time we are in a rally, yes, but we are rallying in a bear trend. Here is a confirmation of a bear trend from the highest I made to this low, back to this lower high, and to this lower lows. Now we have to break this lower high to resume our bullish bias. That is the invalidation point. Once we are above of it, then we are set. So at this particular time, BTC, it just has to decide what it wants to do. It has to decide what it wants to do, and then that is the time we can know if we are bullish or we are bearish. And like I said before, if this point breaks, it has broken right now, so we expect a move at least down to this point. Now the 4 hours, it is a valid point right here. So we get the first retest on the 4 hours, and then for closing above this side, right? This side is even different from the one on the futures. So it's very good to pay attention to the spot side of things while trading either on the futures market or while trading the hot pairs. So at least it can be down there, it can be up there, anywhere from that zone. We expect at least a push back up to retest this new supply which formed as an engulf. And from what I've noticed in the market, anytime we're at a point of supply and we have a bearish engulfing, it doesn't look good. We make a quick retest and then we come back down. Also, pattern wise, if you look at this structure from this point here, it doesn't look like we are set to rally. I really wish we rally, but then it's looking more like an ascending, what's it called? Ascending channel. Yeah, we have a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Oh, sorry, 1, 2, 3, 4. Then we make a fifth move and then a break below. BTC oftentimes breaks this record of channels. It can easily break up. We know we want that, but we'll do trade what we see. And right now, what we see is to stay aside. So currently, I'm in some more trade that I've been in since yesterday, and they are currently romancing my stop loss. It doesn't look good at all because of Bitcoin. So it's better to stay aside to get a sense of direction. If Bitcoin wants to go down, then you know it should be short in the market. And if it's going up, it should show us that so we can also long the market. That is it, guys. Thank you for watching.